Good afternoon from the Foreign Correspondents Club in Hong Kong. My name is Austin Ramsey. I'm a board member and a reporter with the New York Times. Thank you for joining us for this talk with Sin Guo Clam on his candidacy for Hong Kong Chief Executive. Normally this is the point in the talk where I talk about the upcoming events at the FCC. As you guys know, there's a lot of COVID cases coming, so we may have some new rules hitting soon. So I'll just tell you to keep an eye on the FCC website and your email, let you know what is coming. There is one ongoing event I can tell you about. That's the Sunset Survivor photo exhibition in the main bar downstairs. Work by Lindsay Barty and Gary Jones documents the people who are keeping Hong Kong's traditional industries alive. And that's on in the main bar through the end of February. Now on to today's event. The sixth-term Hong Kong Chief Executive election, scheduled for March 27th, is the first Chief Executive election to be held after the National People's Congress transformed the electoral system and enacted the national security law for Hong Kong. Unlike previous elections, where candidates began campaigning early on, this time not a single candidacy has been declared just 3 months before the 1,500-member election committee will cast their votes. The silence was broken recently when Sin Guo Clam became the first contender with his online declaration on January 19th. He will discuss why he's running for the top job, share his vision for Hong Kong as it enters the second half of the one country, two systems arrangement. Mr. Sin was the producer of the award-winning Get Time film series, born into a humble family residing in Saigon. He worked as a hawker, delivery man, taxi driver, bank clerk, auxiliary police officer before earning degrees in business administration and law on a part-time basis. He later became the managing director of Wing Hong Credit and chairman of National Arts Holdings. He began studying Kung Fu at a young age and is the chairman of the World Wing Chun Union and the World Kung Fu Association. In October 2019, he started an online platform, SinSeafood.com, to make policy recommendations. His ideas are collected in 2 books, How to Cure the Serious Ill Hong Kong in 2020 and The Strategy of Governing Hong Kong in 2021, both published by Mingbao Publications. I should add that this is our first event with a chief executive candidate because Mr. Sin is, as of yet, the only declared chief executive candidate. This forum is open to other chief executive candidates as they declare, and we hope that in the coming weeks we can hold similar events with others to discuss the future of Hong Kong. So the format is Mr. Sin will speak for a brief bit, and then I will ask him some questions, and we'll open up to the floor and try and get in all of your questions as well. So with that, let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming to the dinner, and thanks for the invitation of FCC. The topic set by the FCC is why I run the CE election. I think it's a very interesting topic. It's because what you call is a political neophyte dare to run the CE election. I think so many people wonder why this man become crazy. Once I launched my announcement to run the CE, so many people criticized me. The main criticism is that I'm going to be divided in 3 categories. The first one is that I have no any chance to win the election. They think that my purpose is just to promote myself, to promote the name of myself, and in order to get some political benefit in the future. They said, I'm not a famous man, I'm not a political star. This is first one they criticized me. The second one is that Mr. Sin is not qualified to be a CE because it can't come from the bottom class of the society. They said, I have no any backup from the tycoon or no any relation with the political parties. Therefore, they said that I'm not qualified to run the CE. The first criticism is that because before I had several times to reply the guys who suggest me to run the CEO or run the legislative council, I reject them 5 times. Because at that moment, I'm quite enjoying my family life. I have a little daughter. When I was 10 years old, I enjoy playing with her, enjoy take a dinner with her. So many people said, "Hey, why you?" Whenever I have a dinner party with my friends, I have to leave at 10 o'clock. He said, "Why you always leave the party at 10 o'clock?" Because I'm a real Cinderella. I have to leave earlier to see my daughter. Otherwise, she will call me. That's why I enjoy very much. As you know, I'm relating to an invitation about questions. The first of all, in fact, I'm a quite popular KOL, and my name in this glass society is very, very famous. There's no any reason for me to promote my name at all. And also the name or the money to me is not much concern to me, because I already have enough money to keep my living at very satisfactory level. And also for whether I'm qualified. In fact, after a few decades hardworking, I would like to emphasize why I work as a hawker, as a delivery boy, it's because I'm very lucky. My family result in the public examination of the secondary school is very poor. Only 3 subjects passed. Even the English is very poor. But after that, I know that if I never give up. I know that if I do not keep on going to further my study, I may be still a test driver today, or I may be a delivery boy today. I have no any meaning to disgrace the test driver occupation. It means that I just want to tell you that if you continue hardworking, continue further your studying, you may have one day get success. But if you do nothing, it will not change anymore. Maybe I still a taxi driver, or maybe I open the door of your car. It's a car boy, okay. After that, I further my study, and I took part in second examination and got 6 subjects, passed with 3 subject credits, and then I further to take the banking examination, an MBA, accounting and law, and so on and so. It just means I want to show you how hardworking for me. And one thing I am proud for myself is all this professional qualification, I got it by self-study, except the law. Self-study means I took part in the public examination of accounting and the banking. The only communication is with the dictionary and the textbook. That's why my written and reading English is quite good, but I'm quite weak in listening and speaking English. But I never shame of my English. It's because I truly believe that my English is better than your Chinese. I think so. If any foreign friends say your Chinese is better than me, you may raise up and then let me have competition. Okay. At least right now I can communicate with you in my Chinese English. Okay. After a few decades working, I have done a lot of work. I was a CEO, senior executive at a bank, and I have 2 leased companies in the past. Therefore, the guys who challenge me whether I'm qualified to be a CE, maybe they don't know the detail of my career in the past. So, okay. But the reason why I want to see you is because in 2019, I think so many people that there's a social chaos, unrest situation. I tried to approach two senior secretaries of the Hong Kong government. Senior secretary. I think you know many senior secretary. They are my friend, although not so familiar. I know them more than 20 years. I tried to approach them. One of the secretaries very polite. He said his assistant told me that the secretary is very busy. Can we have the meeting later? Means nothing happened at all. And the other secretary, his assistant told me that, will you please write a proposal to us, and after studying the proposal, we will arrange a meeting. Of course, I'm not quite happy with that because I know them very well. I'm not a nobody at all. At that moment, at least I am chairman of two listed company, and he knows me. Okay. Later on, some of my friends suggest me, if you have very good idea or good opinion, why you open a channel in the internet? You can say anything you like. That's why, you know that I started my channel, Master Scene Forum, in October 2019. The response is very good and make me very happy, and can encourage me to continue my forum up to last month, because I want to see that I started. What's the satisfaction I got in my forum is because so many opinions or suggestions are raised in my forum. It's almost as same as the policy the government taken later. For example, I think all of you should have known that there's what we call filibuster in the Legislative Council for the Internal Affairs Committee. They elect a chairman, but the filibuster has been lasting for 6 months, and even the legal advisor of the Legislative Council said there's no way to stop. But I don't believe it, because I have studied law. I know that even a comment, the article and memorandum of comment, will not let such that not happen. That must be a way out. Therefore, I borrowed 2 books, very thick. One is 2 inches, one is 4 inches. This is a rule of the Legislative Council, and the other is the reference book of the Legislative Council. I studied it quite a long time, about 4 hours. Studied these 2 books. I found that the Article 92 of the rule of the procedure of the Legislative Council, saying that if any event which happened does not covered by the existing rules, the chairman of the Legislative Council has the authority to make a new rule, and that rule is final and conclusive. It means that the legal advisor said under the existing rule, no way to solve the filibuster. It's not a fact. I think she tell lie. Because if she had studied very carefully the rules of the procedure of the Legislative Council, he should have found such article. Because I'm not a Legislative Council, I'm not. I want to mention, because so many things that you always challenge the judiciary, challenge the society of solicitor. Do you afraid that you will be disqualified? But tell you, I have no any solicitor or lawyer's qualification. I just a law student. Okay, I raised this opinion to the friend of in the Legislative Council, two councillors. And then some of them, some of my friends who are the senior counsel, they agree with me. It's that this is a good way to get the problem solved. And then this message has been sent to the chairman of the Legislative Council. Of course, they don't believe me because I'm nobody at all in the legal field. I'm not a senior counsel or even a solicitor. they employed 2 senior counsel to make a legal comment. Very happy that the content of the legal comment almost the same of what I said before. But they pay few $1 million for them, but I get nothing, even in free charge. Okay, this is one of the typical things. The other thing is that I suggest police to use the crime ordinance section 9 and section 10 to deal with the incitement. Okay, at that moment they are not to do, but right now the Hong Kong police always use these 2 ordinances, 2 sections to deal with the incitement and for incitement. This is just an example for you to know that all these things I feel very happy that all my suggestions is useful and practical and it's beneficial to the whole society. That's why I continue this forum. And during this period, so many people, not only one, my friends, or some members of different organizations asked me whether you would consider to run a legislature or to run a CE. I refused it because it's what I said before. I enjoy my family life. I will not sacrifice my family life to run the CE or other election. But until last year, April, I mentioned one thing. So many people think that you are very successful in the career or so and so, but in fact, not at all. In 2018, I was attacked by a virus, and then the result is that my left eye was cut in order to save my life. And I received 6-month treatment, and then had the antibiotic injection for 3.5 months. I almost died at that moment, but as what I said, people not easy to give up. I recover, and then I take over again, and in order to strengthen my body condition. Right now I can talk with you, and I think the technique of the fake eye is very good. And not easy to see. My left eye is a fake eye. Okay. Back to the last year, I had a quarrel with my wife. She is unhappy. She's not happy that I contribute more time to the society and the business rather than the family. And then some of his bad friend, the friend is influenced by the bad guys, and then he left me with my lovely daughter. To me, it's greatest hate of my life. At the moment, I'm very, very unhappy and almost frustrated to a level which is unacceptable. But as what I said, I feel never give up. After a month, in fact, before he left, we are about to move to a more comfortable house, and I prepare everything. Even my daughter's room, I prepare everything. I hope that they will come back again. But anyway, until now, I am able to locate them. Okay, even I reported to police. I don't know why, but to me it's not a good thing. Of course, I don't think. I think you will feel that. After this incident, I try to calm down myself. Within 1 month, I think I still have a long way to go. Heaven has happened. I should not let me down by such incident. And then I wrote another book, the second book. The second book, I make so many opinions and the suggestions, which I hope that the new government will use it as a reference book, and then it's good for the society. After this book I published in July last year, it's very popular and one of the top sellers. It's very exciting to me. The research is very good. And then I think September between September and October, and more friends come to me and ask me whether you consider to run the CE at all. Because the friend said, the book you wrote is very good, the content is very good, but if you let the book, let the content, the suggestion to be executed by the other guys, why don't you execute yourself? Why do you do it yourself? The first thing. And secondly, it's not a good point. To me, it's not good, but he thinks it's a good point. Even now you're only one guy living in the room with your dog, old man and dog. Why don't you come up to do more things for the society? It's not a good thing for me, but he just tell it back. That's why I'm feeling it. I intention at the moment. But I said, this is mission impossible. What is mission impossible? So many people say that if you want to run the CE, you need to have the blessing from someone that say that. But I have no any connection or relation to get the blessing. How can I become a CE? That's why I still have not made any decision, firm decision. But after the last year's Legislative Council election, I found that there's really no any list, pressing list or no any designated person. Because the director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs, he told the public that anyone who is loyal to the country and capable and could be working under pressure, he is eligible to be the candidate of CE. The result of the Legislative Council and under the new election scheme, I believe that I should be able to, or I have a chance to run the CE election even I have no person, because they told me that no person in the legislative election. That's why I strengthened my belief. I made the decision very shortly. Just, at the end of December last year, I decided to run the CE election. And I talked with two of my friends. One is here. He supported me very much. He said, you should do more things for the society. And of course, they said your points help. It proves that in the past, it proves that your opinion and your idea is very well received. You have your points, and then they support me. Then we start our election work on 4th January this year, and within only 2 weeks, we can make our public announcement to the public. That is why I run the CE, because the change, substantial change, is unhappy things happen to me in my family life, and the support of my friends and so many people. It doesn't mean I overrule my promise. Although I have repeated 5 times that I have no intention to run the CE, but because the unhappy things happened last year, that's why I don't want to waste my time, the rest of my life, because I'm still full of energy. I still train Kung Fu every day. So that's why I decided to do anything. But so many people ask that whether you have sufficient nomination or not. In fact, I never considered about this. If the new election, under the new election scheme, there's no need to have any person, I think I should get the nomination, because any one of the election committee members should have the duty to elect, to choose the right person to be CE for the society. That's just all my speech. But before ending my speech, I want to emphasize, to say something. This is advised by my lawyer. He said that under the election law, I was not allowed to say anything, promote or criticize any candidate during this event. Otherwise, I reach a lot. And also, even if some of them may be my supporter, don't say anything to support me or criticize others. Otherwise, I also have to leave. This is the rule. And also, if you have the question, if that question is related to the promotion or criticize, sorry, I can't answer. And also, I have to stop you. That's accept my impoliteness if you do so. Thank you very much.
Mr. Sin, thank you for those comments. I'll ask maybe about 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll open it to the floor.
In fact, my lawyer advised me not to allow any Q&A time because the law is very tight and the cover area is very wide. But anyway, okay, I'll try to answer.
All right. Thank you for agreeing to answer some questions. First off, do you think you have a chance of winning? And if you don't have a chance of winning, why participate in the election?
This is not promotion, huh? Okay. My style is that if I decide to do something, I will not care about the opportunity to win or lose, because just try to do everything you can do. Try your best. If you're always concerned whether I can win or lose, because it is a service to the society. Don't care about the opportunity. That's why I always say, I just do the things I need to do, I ought to do.
I see. Ultimately, who becomes the next chief executive, Beijing has a lot to say about that. I wonder, have you had any communication with any members of the liaison office, the Hong Kong Affairs office, or any other representatives in Beijing suggesting run or not run or anything like that?
That's what I said before. I just talked with two friends before making the decision. I have no way to liaise with the Beijing or any other thing. Because I believe that, I strongly believe that, under the new election as policy, any person who meet the requirements is loyalty, capability, and then the endurance and under pressure. You can do it under pressure. I think I can do it because my knowledge. Okay, don't say that. Okay, that's why I don't care about. And no way to. I've never contact with any person in Beijing or even Hong Kong.
You mentioned in your talk health issues, some family issues that you've had recently. Do you feel that an election campaign is something that you're ready for? A high-pressure, high-profile event like this is something that you're prepared for?
I think pressure to me is nothing. I always working under pressure. There's nothing concerned about the pressure. Because that's why I fit the first requirement, can work under pressure. But one of the reasons I run the CE is for family matter. I hope that one day my daughter will understand his daddy. He knows his daddy. I love her very much. And then his daddy is a guy who can do things for the society. That doesn't mean I don't care her. This is one of my reasons to run the CE.
Why do you think the election has been so quiet thus far? Why is no one else declared? And why will it end up being such a short election?
I don't know. I just like a boxer, already sitting on the rink and waiting for the communists appear. In fact, I'm waiting for a long time, quite a long time, very tired. I almost got asleep.
Well, hopefully there'll soon be some candidates for you to face off with. Let's talk a little bit about events in Hong Kong. Right now, our COVID cases are climbing quite dramatically. Expectations we'll have 600 or more new cases today. What do you think about how Hong Kong is dealing with COVID? We're now in a unique situation where we're still trying to maintain COVID zero or dynamic COVID zero. as CE, would you continue these policies? Would you open up more, close down more?
It is a very dangerous question. It's because if I criticize the CE, who may be the potential candidates? That's why I try to answer this question. I will not say if I was CE, I will not say that. But I will say that if you adopt the practice of the mainland China, the situation will be better. I just can say that. I can't say more because I don't want to criticize anyone. Because it's may construct as a criticize the other candidates.
Sure, but I mean, not speaking about other potential candidates, but could you just elaborate a little more? So you're saying that you think Hong Kong should adopt a more mainland-style policy, meaning more strict lockdowns, less travel in and out?
As it is proved that the policy taken by the mainland China is quite workable than the other countries. Why we don't adopt that? Why we still insist they use our own practice? There's no points to do that. It's my opinion.
Okay. Maybe if we could talk a little bit about housing. You mentioned a pretty dramatic plan to flatten parts of Llama Island and use it to build new land, concentrate all of Hong Kong's prisons in a sort of a super prison in Llama Island. Also, moving cemeteries and columbariums to outlying islands to free up that land. I mean, do you think this is actually a feasible plan?
Of course. Before I published this idea, I have done a lot of research. In fact, I don't know whether anyone of you living in Lemon Island or somewhere around. You live in Lemon Island? Okay. You live? Okay. Lemon Island is the area is 13.3 square miles. It's almost the Tomorrowland Island. Tomorrowland Island is 16 square miles. Okay. If you remove the Lemon Island, remove some of the mountain and use the rock and stone to the reclamation, and then you will get about 15 square miles the land area. It doesn't mean I put all the prisons in the Lemon Island, because all the prisons put in the Lemon Island is only about 200 acres, and then the area is of the island is 15,000 acres. You use egg, not use it now. And then I will develop Lemon Island as a resort area, a supermarket, water game center, and a low density housing area. If you take the reference for the Abu Island. Abu Island is only 113.5 acres, and then can live about 90,000 people. If you take this as a reference, the Lemon Island can live more than nearly 1 million. But I don't want to do it. I just want to do it as a low density. And there's a set of targets, only about 400,000 people living in the Lemon Island. It's very, because you use 20 years time to develop the Tomorrowland Island, Tomorrowland. Why don't you use just a few years to develop the Lemon Island? You just need to build a bridge, crossing bridge to the Lemon Island from the Abu Island. It's very, very simple.
Let me ask one last question, and then we'll open it up. You've also proposed a fake news law. What is your goal with that? Why do you think Hong Kong needs a fake news law?
Now, so many people said if you make a fake news law, it will infringe or against the freedom of speech. I would like to emphasize that under the international covenant of the civil right and political right issued by the United Nations, section. I can't remember. It's section 19, subsection 3. Any freedom of speech must not be defamatory. Defamatory means you cannot defame the reputation of others. Secondly, must not harmful to the social security and social security, and also the social health. Okay, if the people who always launch the rumor, suppose that the rise of tide will be over and so or something like that, and then so many people run to the supermarket and get to buy the price. It's not good. What my main purpose is just deal with this. Doesn't mean to tighten the scope of the freedom of speech. I think we should understand. Just deal with the guy with the malicious mind. The guy with the malicious mind. Not because I'm a guy who always want to have more freedom. That's why. Don't misunderstand.
Okay, great. Let's move on to questions from the audience. Yeah, please state your name and your organization. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. You've got a microphone for you.
I'm Mr. Sim, Tom from Hong Kong Free Press.
Okay.
From your speech, I have to be honest, I don't understand what your policies are. You didn't mention anything about Northern Metropolis, you won't comment on COVID. You seem to be scared of even uttering your own policies. Remarkable for a candidate in any part of the world, and to say something about how fearful people are about the law here. But nevertheless, my question, you question why the FCC has low rent premises in Central on your blog last August, yet you've shown it today. Should the club be worried about being evicted in December? And on your blog, you also claim that foreign correspondents have violated immigration rules last year. What are you talking about? And what examples do you actually have of fake news posted by existing news outlets in Hong Kong?
I think, in reply to your question, I think you better make an appointment with my assistant that's why I better way to respond to. Otherwise, it's what? Yeah. Let me see. I think this is also the question. I'm willing to answer you under a special arrangement. It's a comment. It's not the way because not the way to talk. That's such issue at this moment. Will you please come to my office to for an interview? No, it's not good. Okay.
This seems like a good opportunity.
No, doesn't matter. Okay. You mean the immigration office? I can tell you that anyone who work in Hong Kong must get a working permit. What I said is those journalists without working permit. You don't understand the immigration law? The immigration law that any people who want to work in Hong Kong need to get a working permit. Even I'm shooting a certain movie. My movie star who want to come to a certain movie, he need to get a working permit. Maybe I have some misunderstanding, but don't worry. If I misunderstand, you can tell me the law. But I suggest you study the immigration law before asking this question. No one asked. Hey, okay.
Just a question back there.
Peter Bozar, semi-retired correspondent member. 先師傅，我好幾年前我就香港我喺香港做中國功夫，香港人仲有黑虎爪所以我問你 What is your opinion of Bruce Lee, not as an actor, but as a martial artist?
Bruce Lee. It's a very interesting question. Bruce Lee is my Sisok in Wing Chun. It is a student of my grandmaster Ip Man. Unfortunately, I can give you a very, very correct or a very fair comment because I don't know him. And he died before I learned Wing Chun. There's no idea about him. Whether he is a real Kung Fu master or very good in Kung Fu, it is quite arguable because so many people said we haven't seen Bruce Lee to do the real fight on the ring or so and so, just movie action. It's no doubt that his action in the movie has opened a new era of the Kung Fu movie, because right now so many Kung Fu movies action is to copy the Bruce Lee. But also myself cannot say whether he's a true Kung Fu master or not. I can say he's a very good Kung Fu movie star. I can say that.
All right. You sir back there.
Mike Rouse, part-time columnist and broadcaster. Mr. Sin, thank you for coming along today. You are the first candidate we've seen. I hope we do indeed see the others. In your view, what are the major errors of the Lam administration, and why can we be confident that you will do better?
This depends on the town planning. This is a preliminary idea. For the detailed plan, we need to study further. Is that the name I don't know?
No, the Lam administration, Carrie Lam.
Carrie Lam, okay then.
Correct, is that?
I cannot say anything about Carrie Lam at the moment, sorry. I can say after this event, if you come to my office, because after the event, I'm no longer regulated by the ordinance.
Okay. Back here.
We do, Channel News Asia. Mr. Sin, you said this yourself, that Hong Kong has not had a chief executive of your background and upbringing, and I don't believe there has been a candidate quite like you. Let's just imagine that you had been elected and you received a phone call from Chinese President Xi Jinping. What's the first thing you tell him that no one else would tell him? Something about Hong Kong he doesn't already know.
Your question also is quite dangerous for me too. So, can you ask me after the lunch? Okay, I will reply you later.
I think that's okay. I don't think Xi Jinping is running for chief executive of Hong Kong.
No one knows.
Okay.
I will answer your question after the lunch, okay?
All right.
Because I no longer regulate by the ordinance. Please don't ask any further about the career. It's quite embarrassing for me.
Over to you, professional accountants. Thank you, Mr. Sin, for the enlightening address. Mr. Sin, I'm given to understand that you are from the private sector and that you have not served as a member of Hong Kong civil service in your career, and as an appointee of any advisory body of the Hong Kong government. So, my question is, in the event that you were to successfully win the election of the chief executive, please kindly enlighten me on how you would plan to lead the 300,000 strong members of Hong Kong civil service and to achieve a smooth transition from the current administration to the new administration. Thank you.
Thank you. This is, in fact, the second criticism, whether I'm qualified to be a CE. This is the same. So many people say, hey, just like what you said, you have no working experience with the government or even public sector. It's true. But why you need a change when I today is the guy who has a long time working experience in the government or public sector will be a good CE? I don't think so. Working experience is one of the advantages from, but not must. Have you heard about a Chinese guy, Zhu Goplan? Have you heard? Zhu Goplan is a very famous Chinese military expert, something like that. When his boss, Lao Bei, go to find him, he was only 27 years old. No any actual experience in fighting, no any working experience with the government. But he became a very famous and very successful prime minister. You see that if the people who has experience, but such experience cannot help him or promote him to the other level. You see, the functional manager level doesn't mean the general manager. General manager does not need the detailed knowledge in every aspect. He needs to know how to manage people. That's why if your opinion is good, if your idea is good, why don't we choose an AO to be a CE? But the fact proves that choosing an AO to be CE may not be a successful idea. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Last question, because I have an appointment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very simple question. Ms. Wong, I know you quite well. I know you are a skilled fighter.
You are not my supporter. You are my enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
One question. How would you comment on my comment that your running for the city is a copycat of Donald Trump?
It's good. Maybe you may say Donald Trump, but I should be the positive one. I'm the better one, because he is really. In fact, I respect him very much. His courage and also his heart to win this election is very good. I copy him. Yes, I agree. But my style is quite different from him. I will accept a different opinion. I will accept. But Donald Trump is quite a substantial guy.
Are you looking for a consolation prize then?
No, I'm no such man. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Let me should have the guy from the FCC.
Thank you. You may study the immigration law. Sure.